For every swing, every moment, the Milwaukee Brewers fight. It's not just about hitting the ball, it's about leaving a legacy.
Behind the scenes, the Milwaukee Brewers are buzzing with one single question. Does he stay or does he go? The fate of one of our top pitchers is being decided as we speak. For the full breakdown and inside information, hit subscribe right now. Hello Brew Crew, welcome back to our channel, the meeting point for every passionate Milwaukee Brewers fan. This is your host, always bringing you the hottest information and the most in-depth analysis of our favorite team. Before we dive into the news that's buzzing behind the scenes in MLB, I need to ask for the usual favor that helps our work continue. If you're not already subscribed, please click the subscribe button below and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss any updates, any exclusive analysis, and you'll stay in the loop firsthand with the credibility and speed you've come to expect. Our community is only growing, and your participation is essential. Done! Then let's get to it, because today's conversation is serious and will define the future of our franchise. We are living a dream in 2025, there's no denying it. When you look at the Major League Baseball standings, the name at the top is ours, the Milwaukee Brewers. Yes, we have the best record in the league, and that's not an empty claim. It's a fact, backed by wins, by resilience, and by a roster that plays with heart. We've been led by an offense that, while some might call it wobbly, I prefer to call opportunistic. An offense that shows up in decisive moments, that manufactures runs when we need them most. And of course, our backbone, a complete, dominant, and deep pitching staff that has been the envy of many teams out there. With this scenario, the window for a World Series title isn't just open, it's wide open. And that's precisely why this upcoming offseason becomes the most crucial in our recent history. The front office, led by Matt Arnold, has the mission not only to maintain this level of excellence, but to elevate it. It is crucial that we seek to bring back as much talent as possible, because opportunities like this don't come around often. When we look at the key pieces, peace of mind comes from knowing that our all-star catcher, William Contreras, and our ace, Freddie Peralta, are under control with extremely club-friendly contract options. They are the pillars upon which we will build the 2026 team. Other important names, like our power-hitting first baseman Rhys Hoskins and the high-leverage bullpen specialist Shelby Miller, will certainly become coveted free agents and will generate massive interest on the market. Losing either of them would be a blow. However, the most complex dilemma, the $1 million, or rather the $20 million question hanging over American Family Field, is the future of our other ace, Brandon Woodruff. Christopher Klein of Fansided recently predicted that the Brewers would make the right move and bring him back. And today, I want to dive deep into this issue, because in my opinion, this isn't just an important decision, it is the decision that will define our title aspirations. Woodruff's contract situation is unique and needs to be understood in detail. He has a $20 million mutual option for the 2026 season. Now, anyone who has followed baseball for a while knows that mutual options are rarely exercised. Most of the time, they are a contractual formality, a way to give the player a financial handshake in the form of a buyout before he tests the market. Generally, if the player had a spectacular season, he will decline the option in search of a larger, longer-term contract. If he had a bad season or got injured, the team will decline the option to avoid paying an above-market rate. It's almost impossible for both sides to look at the same number and say, yes, this is fair. But Woody's situation is the rare exception to that rule, and the key to understanding it lies in the buyout clause. Woodruff's $20 million mutual option includes a $10 million buyout. This completely changes the math and the strategy. Let's look at the facts. The Milwaukee Brewers are already on the hook to pay Brandon Woodruff $10 million, whether he pitches for us or for another team in 2026. The front office's decision is not between paying $20 million or $0. The real decision, the effective cost of keeping one of the best pitchers in the National League, is an additional $10 million. The question Matt Arnold and Mark Attanasio need to answer is one season of Brandon Woodruff worth $10 million more than what we are already obligated to pay? When you frame it that way, the answer seems obvious. Brandon Woodruff has been absolutely sensational this year. After missing almost the entire 2024 season, recovering from a serious shoulder surgery, he returned in 2025 not just as the pitcher we knew, but as an even better, more focused, and more dominant version. He is one of the most underrated aces in the sport, a fierce competitor who embodies the grit of our team. We're talking about a pitcher who this season is putting up Cy Young caliber numbers, over 200 strikeouts, an ERA flirting with the 250 mark, and a consistency that gives us a chance to win every time he takes the mound. Offering him $20 million to form, alongside Freddie Peralta, the best pitching duo in the league, is not just a good idea, it's a strategic necessity for a title contender. Now, let's talk about it from the team's perspective. We know the Brewers' reputation. We are a historically frugal, if not cheap, organization. We operate in one of MLB's smallest markets, and every dollar is counted. A $20 million salary for a single player might seem, at first glance, like an extravagance for our payroll. But, as explained, the real cost is $10 million. Where, in the free agent market, could you find a pitcher of Woodruff's caliber for $10 million? The answer is nowhere. Middle of the rotation arms, the so-called innings eaters, sign deals for $15, $18 million a year. True aces? We're talking about figures that exceed $30, $35 million annually. Paying $20 million for one season of Brandon Woodruff in terms of market value is an absolute bargain. It would be the smartest and most financially efficient move we could make to keep the elite part of our rotation intact. It would be a statement that the front office understands that this window of opportunity must be seized with timely and intelligent investments. Declining this option to save $10 million would be a foolish economy, creating a massive hole in our greatest strength, the starting rotation, a hole that would be nearly impossible to fill with the same quality on the open market. Now, let's analyze the other half of the equation, which is equally crucial. Why would Brandon Woodruff accept this mutual option? A pitcher having the season he is having would normally decline a one-year option to seek the security of a long-term contract. Perhaps 4 or 5 years, that would secure his financial future, and this is where his personal history comes into play. We can't forget that he is coming off a complex shoulder surgery, one of the most feared injuries for a pitcher. Although his performance in 2025 has been spectacular, the free agent market can be skeptical. Teams might be hesitant to offer a contract worth over $100 million to a 33-year-old pitcher with that medical history. Accepting the $20 million option from the Brewers would be a smart bet on himself. It would be a sort of bridge contract, as he would guarantee an elite salary for one more season, remain in an environment he knows and loves with a competitive team, and have the chance to put together another high-level season. If he can repeat his 2025 success in 2026, he would enter free agency the following year with the doubts about his health completely erased, which could land him an even more lucrative and longer-term contract. It would be a masterstroke for him and his agent, maximizing his potential earnings by eliminating the biggest question mark associated with his name: durability. It's a win-win scenario. The Brewers keep their co-ace for a below-market price, and Woodruff positions himself for an even bigger payday in the future. Furthermore, we must consider the context of the free agent market for pitchers this upcoming offseason. Sources around the league indicate that the starting pitcher class will not be particularly strong. There won't be an abundance of aces available. This means demand will be high and prices will be inflated. If we let Woodruff walk, we would be entering a bidding war for lesser talents, where we would likely have to pay more for less. Keeping Woodruff not only solidifies our team, but also insulates us from the uncertainties and exorbitant costs of a seller's market. The decision on Woodruff has a domino effect on our entire offseason strategy. Before we can think about how to retain Rhys Hoskins or how to replace Shelby Miller, we need to define the top of our rotation. With the Peralta-Woodruff duo secured, the pressure on the younger arms like DL Hall and Robert Gasser diminishes. They can develop as third or fourth starters without the weight of carrying the rotation on their shoulders. If Woodruff leaves, there is suddenly a vacuum of leadership and performance that overburdens the entire pitching staff and forces the front office to spend precious resources, both in money and prospects via trade, to try to patch a hole that never needed to be created. My analysis, based on the conversations I've been having and the logic of the situation, is this. The Brewers front office fully understands the unique opportunity this contract presents. They know that retaining a talent like Woodruff for the effective cost of $10 million is a championship-defining move. I believe the Milwaukee Brewers will exercise their side of the option. And on Woodruff's side, the combination of a $20 million salary, the chance to compete for a title, and the platform to prove his durability for an even bigger future contract is too appealing to refuse. My prediction is that we will have Brandon Woodruff back in 2026. It would be a clear signal to the fans, the clubhouse, and the entire MLB that the Brewers aren't just satisfied with making the playoffs. We are here to win the World Series, and we are willing to make the smart and necessary moves to do so. In short, the Brandon Woodruff saga is more than just a simple contract negotiation. It's a referendum on our club's philosophy. It's the choice between traditional frugality and a champion's ambition. Keeping Woodruff means maintaining our identity as a team built on dominant pitching. Letting him go for the sake of $10 million would be a step backward, a strategic blunder that could close our window of contention. The decision seems clear, but as we know, in the world of baseball, nothing is guaranteed until the ink is dry on the paper. And now, I want to hear from you, the Brew Crew. What's your take on this? Do you think the Brewers should pay the $20 million to secure Brandon Woodruff's return, considering the real cost is only $10 million? Or do you believe the risk of another injury is too high and the team should take the $10 million buyout and try their luck in the free agent market? Leave your comments below. I read all of them, and I want to know what the heart of our fan base is thinking. For more breaking news, in-depth analysis, and exclusive insights like this, make sure you are subscribed and have notifications turned on. I'll be back as soon as we have any updates. Thank you for tuning in.